Yugioh Zexal is a cringy series with pointless gimmicks, story threads that completely undermine each other as they overlap, and catchphrases that make me want to vomit. With the heart of the cards on our side, it's time to ask one simple question. Can we fix it?
Dueling trash. Dueling trash. Dueling. Listen, you tin twits, they're not trash!
Hey there, party people. Welcome to Kramer Cafe. I'm Kramer. Let's get started. Yugioh Zexal is the fourth series in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, and while it is not completely unwatchable, it is largely considered by the Yu-Gi-Oh community to be the worst one in the franchise's history. On the bright side, the series did introduce sea summoning to the franchise, which was ultimately a very fun and much needed summoning mechanic for the game. But on the other hand, tomatoes. That's all I have to say on the subject. This series is in major need of a good fixer-upper. What we're going to do in this video is analyze the core concept of the series, then we'll determine what its top problems are, we'll see how we can fix those problems, and hopefully by the end of this video we'll wind up with a version of the series that's much better than the original. All good? Let's get started. Yugioh Zexal has one of the coolest core concepts out of all the Yu-Gi-Oh series in existence. It's about a boy named Yuma Tsukumo who, unlike most other Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists, is not good at dueling at all at the start of the series. One day, he meets an amnesiac alien from another world named Astral who teaches him how to duel well. Yuma then helps Astral with hunting down the 99 number monsters that have arrived on Earth from Astral's world so he can regain his memories. This series had the potential to be one of the coolest and most interesting Yu-Gi-Oh series of all time. And then shit like this happened.
You okay, Yuma?
Yeah. Ground's not that hard.
Yeah, that's the very definition of poor execution. Which brings us to the next phase of this video, analyzing the problems in the series. The biggest problem with this series is easily the cast of characters. Yuma as a protagonist is pretty much completely and totally unlikable, with his immature personality, his cringy catchphrases, and his non-Euclidean logic-defying hairstyle. Seriously, I get that in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Your strength as a duelist is basically determined by how wacky your hair looks, but this is just going too far. The rest of the cast is honestly pretty sucky too. The cast suffers from having too many characters who have incredibly weak skills when it comes to dueling, while the villains of the series have plans that clash with one another in ways that make the story just not fun at all to watch. By and far, the only really entertaining character from the first arc at least was Kite. It's a sad day when the Kaiba of the series is the most entertaining character of the whole bunch. These problems are mostly solved by the time the second season rolls around, but it really does make the first season almost completely unwatchable. I already mentioned the other main problem of the series, which is that it has too many storylines going on all at once, which causes these stories to clash and undermine each other's validity, and ultimately make the story's plot way too hard to follow. Season 1 is notorious for this kind of problem, and even Season 2 falls into these trappings to a certain extent. The third biggest problem the series has is the concept behind the number monsters. The fact that only a number can destroy a number makes it so that literally every other monster other than the numbers are completely invalidated in the series. Numbers can be strong, sure, but they shouldn't be so broken that they eventually become the only Xyz monsters ever shown in this series after a certain point. And the last problem that I feel deserves mentioning is the gimmick for dueling. Augmented reality duel monsters. To put it simply, this gimmick was pointless. It was literally the exact same thing that the original concept behind how duels work had going for it with holograms, but with a pointless twist to try and modernize it with advances in technology in the real world. Seriously, how dare they spit on the grave of the great Seto Kaiba by taking his brilliant idea and completely bastardizing it? Someone needs to play a Monster Reborn so that man can come back and kick the ass of whoever thought that so-called brilliant idea was good. Now we've gone over the problems of the series, let's see if we can figure out how to fix them. We'll start with an easy fix for the last problem I mentioned and just completely get rid of the concept of AR dueling. The concept of Duel Monsters holograms wasn't broken, so there's no need to fix it, simple as that. Secondly, the characters. We're going to start this off by making Yuma just a little bit less unlikable. For that, we're going to get rid of his stupid catchphrases, and to make him a little less immature, we're going to age him up a couple of years from 13 to 16. We're going to keep the fact that he doesn't know how to duel at the start of the series the same though, since that was easily the most entertaining, original, and interesting thing about his character. The other main thing we're going to fix regarding the characters is the fact that so many of the main cast just do not know what they're doing when it comes to dueling. In the original series, it really does seem like only 3 of the characters were actually good at the game: Yuma, Kite, and Shark. The rest of them were just sorta there. We're going to change that first by shrinking the size of the main cast so that there aren't quite as many characters just sort of standing around, and we're going to make it so that at least one of them is good at dueling to a certain extent. I'm thinking that character would have to be either Bronk or Kathy, but because I think we need more strong female duelists in Yu-Gi-Oh!, and also because Cat Girls reign supreme, we're going to go with Kathy on this one. We're also going to age all these characters up a tad, just like we did with Yuma, by about 3 years or so. Tori will fill the role of the exposition master, standing on the sidelines of duels. Bronk is the lovable sidekick who doesn't know up from down when it comes to dueling. Kathy is the token female duelist who also serves as Tori's love rival for Yuma's affections, and Kite and Shark are rivals 1 and 2. These character archetypes are pretty much the bread and butter for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise at large, and they are the key to making this series a success, just like the rest of them. We're also going to trim the fat when it comes to the villains of the series by making Vectrex and his sons the main focus of Season 1, instead of shoehorning in Dr. Faker. And for Season 2, we're going to keep the Baryons the main focus because, let's be real here, those guys were easily the best characters to come out of the entire series. I would literally watch an entire spin-off show that's just Vector going around being a dick to everyone he meets. Like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but with more trap cards and stuff. As for the last 2 problems I went over, we're going to make it so that the numbers, while powerful, are not so strong that they're completely unbeatable by regular cards. This way, other duelists in the series who may not possess a number can still hold their own and even defeat those who do have one. And it also makes it so that the other it sees monsters will still have value within the series rather than being sidelined. The final problem, which is easily the biggest, is the overlapping storylines, which will fix by streamlining the story and making it so that things flow better from start to finish. For example, we're going to completely nix the short story thread from Season 2 involving the goddamn spaceship, since that didn't really add anything to the story at large, and frankly felt a little bit too campy for this YouTuber's taste. We're also going to take certain villains like Dr. Faker and the Insect Duelist from Season 2 and either change their roles or completely erase them from the story entirely. Basically, what I'm saying is, it's time to squash some mosquitoes. As you can see here, Yugioh Zexal had a lot of potential going for it if the series could have just been a little bit more well executed. I think after all the work we've put in here, we can definitely consider this series fixed. Let me know what you thought about my take on a different version of the Zexal series in the comments section below. And if you have your own ideas for an original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, or any ways to fix an already existing one, please feel free to tell me about it in the comments. Also, if you have any suggestions for shows for me to fix in future additions to this video series, let me know in the comments, and your suggestions might just get turned into a future video of mine. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Kramer Cafe. I'm Kramer. See you soon.